All right, now the debate on that rages on. It is a constitutional requirement promulgated in 2010 with this new constitution. Now, the biggest debate that has happened outside of Parliament is with many Kenyans saying, we don't want a bloated National Assembly. Is this something that we can afford? Kenyans don't want to pay anything more. So here is a study that was done by the Institute for Economic Affairs for the National Gender Equality Commission, taking a look at just what it would cost you, the Kenyan, to implement this clause in our constitution to ensure that at least a third of those elective positions and appointed positions are women. Now, here is what we're taking a look at. First, let's just establish exactly what is happening and the state and the lay of the land in National Assembly right now. We have 47 county women representatives. We have 23 elected women and 6 women are nominated. So that brings the total number of women in the National Assembly to 76. Now, if we take a look at what happens within the Senate, this is the situation that pertains right now. We have 3 elected senators. This was the first time women were getting elected as senators, and 18 nominated women. That brought the number to this that you see at the bottom of the screen: 21 women in the Senate in total. Now, I want to just take a look at some numbers for us now before we get to that. So what would be the numbers that would be required for implementation? Well, because we look at them one house by the other. So the National Assembly would require 22. Now let's see if we can do a little bit of a calculation just for you to understand what numbers we are working with. So right now, as you saw in the previous slide, 21.177 is the percentage of women in the National Assembly. Now, you would have to do, let me get my pen here and write down some of these so that we can follow this together. So you have 1/3, this is how it's calculated, of the number of elective positions. That's at 290. So we'll not look at 349 for this reason. Affirmative action already applies for 47. Okay, let me just delete that so that we can have a nice clean board. Affirmative action already accounts for the 47 county women representatives. It also accounts for the 6 nominated women MPs in the House, all right? And remember, we also do have how many that have been elected? 23, all right? So that number of 1/3 will not apply to the 47 plus the 6, all right? So this is what we have happening here right now. But I'd just like us to see if we can then move on to take a look at what is happening within the Senate. Let me delete some of my figures there, have a clean board, and see if we can move to what's happening. So this is the situation we're talking about, 21.77. And we want to move it up to roughly 1/3. 22 is the additional number that we would require in the National Assembly. How about in the Senate? In the Senate, we would need an additional 2 because the numbers that we showed you a little earlier is at 31.34. 2 extra would be needed, okay? So that means we have a total of 22, excuse me, plus the 2 in the Senate. Now, let's work out their basic salaries. Now we're taking here the figure of the SRC that then deducts, the deductions that are required by government. So MPs in both the National Assembly and the Senate earn an average of 980,000 shillings a month. If you multiply that by the additional 24 women MPs that would be required as of now, I want to clarify something. Whatever proposals are here will of course apply after the election. But it's just important for us to see what this would mean for us if this were to be implemented this very moment. This is the figure that we're working out here. 980,000 per month as per the SRC regulations, and applying that to the 24 additional that we have said we will need in both the Senate and the National Assembly to acquire the 1/3 gender rule. If you multiply this again by 12 to see that annual figure, this is what it would be. 282 million shillings, 240,000. Now you think this is a big figure. Let's take a look at our population. If you do that per capita, what does that mean for every citizen? What will you pay every year for this additional? This is where push comes to shove. Just 6 shillings and 41 cents per year per citizen to enable us do this. In perspective, we say a third of our budget, about 2.2 trillion, that's about 600 billion shillings, is lost to corruption. Is this a figure that